Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, an investigative report has uncovered some alarming information about the San Onofre nuclear plant. Insiders say the plant's operators didn't fix fire safety problems despite a warning 2 years ago.
And homeowners in San Diego's backcountry will soon be charged $150 to pay for fire prevention and education and the county's 1 million acres of state responsibility area. Coming up, an interview with a county supervisor who fiercely opposes it and the state senator in favor of the fire fee.
And tonight we set sail with students at a special science camp. KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Hi, good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dwayne Brown. Internal records from San Onofre nuclear power plant show workers are violating fire safety rules despite a federal warning 2 years ago. The records show workers aren't taking steps to contain sparks from welding and grinding. Those sparks create a risk for fires, and fires are a risk for meltdown. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission warned Southern California Edison, the operator, about the problem in 2010. We will take a closer look at this investigation in just a few minutes. First, a look at some of tonight's other top stories. A brush fire has destroyed one home and is threatening several others in Murrieta, just north of San Diego County. The fire burning in a rural area with expensive hillside homes. It started at 11:30 this morning and spread quickly. At last report, it's burned about 400 acres. Riverside County Sheriff's deputies are standing by to evacuate the neighborhood if necessary. San Diego's economy is expected to continue improving through early next year. The region's index of leading economic indicators shows positive momentum in the second quarter of this year. Joining us from the News Center is KPBS business and environment reporter Eric Anderson. Eric, what does the index reveal about San Diego's economy?
Well, economist Alan Jin, who puts those numbers together, says the index is telling us that the region's economy will continue to get better through the first part of next year. He says the index, which tracks 6 key economic measuring sticks, has finished up for now 8 straight months.
And are we seeing a full economic recovery here?
Well, not exactly. Actually, the index only ticked up about 0.1% in June. The indicators were split. Claims for unemployment insurance, local stock prices, and the national economic outlook were down, but there was a surge in building permits, there was rising consumer confidence, and another increase in help-wanted advertising. That kept the index in positive territory, but just barely.
So is there concern about the health of San Diego's economy?
Not serious concern, because the index is, of course, moving in a positive direction, but economists are cautious because they say an economic jolt could tip over the economy's apple cart. Alan Jin says he still sees mixed news in the numbers. On the job front, for instance, unemployment claims were up, but help-wanted ads also went up. He says essentially more people are looking for work and there appear to be more jobs. Mixed news like that is kind of tempering his view of the future.
KPBS business and environment reporter Eric Anderson. San Diego Chamber of Commerce says small business owners are more confident than a year ago. The Chamber's researchers interviewed about 500 small business owners. They found especially high confidence levels in the South Bay. General contractors also reported an improved outlook. The Pentagon says it won't be able to buy as many Navy ships if automatic budget cuts take effect next year. Today, the House Armed Services Committee heard more testimony on the potential impact of cuts, including a reduction in training. House Republicans say President Obama has done nothing to stop the cuts, while Democrats say Republicans are at fault for refusing to raise taxes on the wealthy. If Congress doesn't find a way to reduce the deficit, the cuts will begin January 2nd. Candidates running for office in San Diego have filed their first campaign finance report since the June primary. We're now getting a closer look at all the money raised and spent. Ryan Grohowski with our media partner, Investigative News Source, joins us from the News Center. Ryan, let's start with the mayor's race. We know it's down to Carl DeMaio and Bob Filner in November. How did they do?
These reports were for June, so they include a few days before the primary race. And Bob Filner has been behind in fundraising this whole time, and that didn't really change. His campaign reported taking in about $29,000 in June. His opponent, Carl DeMaio, raised nearly $97,000 in the same period.
And how does that fit in with their fundraising overall?
DeMaio has raised now close to $2 million this election, but you do need to keep in mind that he's given his campaign quite a bit of money, more than $700,000, though he didn't do that in June. And Filner's totals are around $517,000, so obviously much less. But in the past 2 weeks, 2 independent expenditure committees were formed in support of Filner, and they do have the potential to draw some big money in.
And what about Nathan Fletcher and Bonnie Dumanis, who actually lost in the primary?
They seem to be rounding out their campaigns with little debt. Fletcher actually raised about $30,000 in June, which will more than cover his outstanding debt. And Dumanis has just about enough cash on hand to close out hers, which was mostly just loans to herself.
Anything going on in the council races we should know about?
Well, the 1st District is the only remaining competitive one, and Councilwoman Sherry Leitner raised nearly twice as much in June than her opponent, Ray Ellis, but Ellis still has more money overall.
Ryan Grohowski with our media partner, Investigative News Source. UC San Diego's new chancellor started work today. Pradeep Khosla is the 8th chancellor in the university's history. He says engaging alumni will be a major priority because private donations will have to offset state budget cuts tomorrow. Dr. Khosla will join us on Midday Edition on radio and right here on Evening Edition. A KPBS investigation finds safety problems at the San Onofre nuclear power plant. Peggy Pico has the story over at the Roundtable.
Federal regulators warned Southern California Edison 2 years ago about fire safety lapses at San Onofre nuclear plant. Now KPBS has learned about continued fire risk at the facility. KPBS investigative reporter Amitha Sharma is here in the studio with me to talk about what you found. What have you found out?
Well, back in 2010, as you said in your intro, NRC inspectors told Southern California Edison that welding and grinding activity at San Onofre was creating sparks that was coming into contact with unprotected combustibles, basically flammable material. And they said that supervisors and workers were violating safety rules for this work, and they said that these violations were more than minor because a fire could start in or near very important equipment. Now, fast forward to this year, it appears that at least some of those problems went uncorrected.
And that was going to be my question to you. Did they take steps in the interim in the last 2 years to try to correct some of these problems, all of the problems, none of the problems, or really the evidence doesn't show?
Well, so some of the problems have gone uncorrected. If you talk to Southern California Edison, they'll say that, yes, we had a problem back in 2009, back in 2010, but we have addressed these problems. However, inside documents from San Onofre indicate that workers still are not containing sparks from this welding and grinding work. Fire officials say that blankets meant to enclose this work have tears in them, and that sparks are spilling over into other areas where there are flammables like wood and oil and paper and chemicals. And according to these documents, Southern California Edison's supervisors, who were meant to oversee this activity, are not providing regular oversight despite repeated complaints about fire safety issues.
Have there been actual fires? Have there been small fires, big fires?
Well, this year there was one small fire which was quickly put out, and there were 52 notifications of fire safety violations regarding this work back in 2010 when the NRC first told, not first, we don't know if it was the first time that they told San Onofre or Edison about these problems, but back in 2010, NRC inspectors told San Onofre that this was an issue, and back then there were 102 notices of these fire safety violations.
In 2010, but 52 when?
This year.
So 52 of the violations this year are fire safety issues.
Yeah, and there were 2 fires back in 2010, and in 2009 there were 5 fires, and there were 104 notices.
Okay, so when we're talking fires, we're talking little fires, trash can fires? What are we talking here?
We're talking small fires, and we should say that these fires were not near the reactors. However, some of this welding and grinding work does take place close to the reactors. And nuclear engineers will tell you that you really don't want to have fires at nuclear plants.
Yeah, I would pretty much think all of us wouldn't want a fire at a nuclear plant. But what was the response from Edison and the NRC in regards to the fire safety?
Well, so Edison says, yes, we had problems in 2009, 2010. We've addressed them. The NRC says they're the ones who pointed me to the 2010 report and said that, yeah, there were issues then. We have not received the complaints that you've basically outlined in your email, Amita Sharma. But I can say that the nuclear notifications that are sent out, they're sent out to Edison, and the NRC is also supposed to read those notifications.
So I'm sure you'll be following up on this. We have a lot more on your story on our website. Amita Sharma, thanks so much for telling us this.
Thank you, Peggy.
We recently told you about San Diego teachers training to lead middle and high school students through rigorous engineering classes. Tonight, KPBS education reporter Kyla Calvert tells us about another program to give budding Latin American scientists access to San Diego's scientific community.
37 high schoolers boarding the Fisherman 3 in Point Loma are among the hundreds of students across the country participating in rigorous science camps this summer. But these students come from 15 countries in Latin America, and unlike all of the other science camp participants, they're getting their lessons in Spanish.
Pero hay uno por aquí. There's a lot of science camp in the United States, but most of them are in English. And so our idea was if we make this in Spanish, then we could have kids from every economic strata, not just like separating the ones that spoke English with not. And so that's what we tried to fulfill, and you actually see it.
Most of the kids were chosen for the camp by their country's American embassy. They had to submit essays and go through interviews. Embassy sponsorships and scholarships mean none of these students had to pay for the 2-week camp. And the campers appreciate just how rare an opportunity this is.
First, when they told me I got an interview, I couldn't believe it because I was happy. And then when they say that I won, it was awesome, really.
There are opportunities that only present themselves once in your life, and this is one of them.
Patricia Moore is an instructor working with the students through their 2-week stay at the Institute of the Americas at UC San Diego. She says they ask more questions than many of the community college students she teaches during the school year.
Can you imagine, it's just some of the students, they have never been in the ocean. And they get a sea star, for example, and you grab the sea star and you see the face of this student looking at the sea star for the very first time. To me, that's all. It's payday.
Jailene Mamani Poma is one of those students who was blown away by her introduction to the Pacific.
My country doesn't have ocean access, so the first time I saw it was the most beautiful, and we saw it from a dock. It was beautiful.
When the boat pulls up to bait docks in San Diego Bay, it's clear the students are here for the science, not just a neat trip.
Who's gonna pull it?
The crew scoops up muck from the bay floor for them to examine, and they jostle to get closer. Ramirez says the boat ride and visiting tide pools and the aquarium have just made him want to learn more about the ocean.
It's amazing for us, and there's so much ocean here for discovering what we have. All of these plants here, the biodiversity, the changes from one area to another. There's so much to keep learning, of course.
Access to diverse marine environments is just one of the things that makes San Diego the perfect place to introduce students to a variety of scientific topics, says Lee Tabluski.
We've got great science scholars here who love to talk with students. We have the wonderful ocean that's around us that gives us a great classroom, and we have great resources like Qualcomm and the San Diego Zoo that really embrace us and invite us in to talk about innovation and to talk about things like the California condor.
The 2-week camp is about more than fun trips, though. Students are working in small groups back in labs at UC San Diego on research and innovation projects. Vasquez says her group is designing a portable blood test.
It's quick, it's efficient, and we're working on that. And for science, we're doing an experiment on water of the different countries, and we are analyzing the bacteria named coliform.
Mamani Poma says one group of researchers that talked with the students about memory and the brain have her reconsidering what she wants to do with her life.
Just everything they said, that everything is connected in one space. The brain is a very big container. So these words made me change and say, this is what I want to learn. And how the brain is still, we don't understand very well all of the ways it works. I said, I want to discover one of the ways it works.
Moore says the camp can be one small but important step down the road to a career studying the brain or in any other scientific area.
I have been telling them it's important what you are going to learn, but more important is the relationships that you are having here, the connections with the people that lives here, because you never know, you are going to go back to your country and you need references, for example, so you can contact us. This is what they are gaining, the communication with the scientific people.
The program started 3 years ago, so some of the first campers will start college in a couple of weeks. They're entering programs like medicine, engineering, and astrophysics. A fundraising campaign is underway to support Mexican college students here in the U.S. The Mexican consulate in San Diego runs the Campaign for a Better Life. For 3 months, they'll raise money for scholarships through text messages. The program started in 2005. Since then, it's helped more than 1,000 students in San Diego. Homeowners in the rural backcountry will soon receive a $150 bill to pay for fire prevention and education. Peggy is talking about the controversial fee with a county supervisor and state senator.
Governor Jerry Brown signed a law last year that imposes a $150 assessment on homeowners in California's rural backcountry known as State Responsibility Areas, or SRA. CAL FIRE is responsible for fighting fires in those areas. California has 31 million acres of SRA fire areas, including 1 million acres in San Diego County. Here to talk about the issue is a fee opponent, San Diego County Supervisor Diane Jacob, and in support of it is California State Senator Christine Kehoe, who represents San Diego's 39th district. Thank you both for being here. First question for you is, why do you oppose this?
It's tax upon tax upon tax upon tax. First, people pay property taxes for public protection, and that includes fire protection. Secondly, many in the state responsibility areas are paying a special assessment as much as $400 a year. Thirdly, the County of San Diego, under the County Fire Authority, has spent since 2003 over $230 million in this area to be better prepared and defensible space and vegetation management. And we spend over $10 million a year into the state responsibility areas to keep some 50 fire stations open 24/7, 365 days a year. So we're paying, this would be a quadruple tax on people in this area that we're already paying for 3 different ways.
We're going to come back to the tax issue, but first I want to ask Senator Kehoe, you voted in favor of this fee. How come?
Because it's so important. It is so important. In the 12 years I've been in the legislature, Peggy, the CAL FIRE firefighting budget has doubled. It's gone up 100%. We've had 2 major fires, 2 500-year fires, they call them, in 03 and 07, 4 years apart. We know wildfires are going to be more frequent, larger and more intense. Fire scientists at Scripps, at Berkeley, and all over the Rocky Mountain states will tell you the same thing. We need to do more prevention. That's what this money is aimed at. It is very important.
To try to prevent these things from happening.
Yes.
Now, of the more than 825,000 estimated fee payers in the state of California, San Diego County has more than 100,000, or 12%, who will be required to pay this fee for each habitable structure on their own, meaning their homes, not barns or sheds and things like that. So, Supervisor Jacob, you've said that that's disproportionate, that our residents in San Diego County are paying more than other residents in other counties.
We are. We're different in this county. We have a cooperative agreement with CAL FIRE like no other county in the state, in that it's a seamless system. We contract with CAL FIRE through the San Diego County Fire Authority. We're already paying for that fire prevention, fire protection services directly into CAL FIRE for about $10 million a year, and that's exactly what this fee is supposed to generate. So I've argued San Diego County is different than other counties. We should be exempt.
Because we're already paying it and talking about money, Senator Kehoe. How much, so about $10 million a year is projected. How much statewide, and where will this money be spent?
About $88 million will be generated statewide by this $150 fee. About $10 million of that will come from San Diego County, and it'll be used for mostly fire prevention, which is not the glamorous stuff. It's not airplanes, it's not helicopters, it's not big trucks, but it is the most cost-efficient way to deal with fire prevention, and firefighting is to prevent it in the first place. Defensible space, reducing fuels in the backcountry, inspections for building materials when something's under construction. You talked about the 100,000 people in San Diego County that will be paying this fee. Those folks are primarily living in rural areas, in backcountry areas. That's right where the firefights are most intense. When you've got a house at the end of a long road, up on a ridge, it's hard to get to, the firefighters are vulnerable, you need air support. That's the kind of development that's most expensive and most dangerous to defend. And we need to know more about how fires move in the backcountry. That's why the mapping and fire prevention is so important.
And the mapping is important because CAL FIRE says that they fought over 5,600 fires statewide in 2007 at a cost of about $524 million. But not all of those fires, and not many of those fires were fought here in San Diego outside of the 2007 wildfires. In general, they say that, San Diego County gets about 200 to 300 fires. So let me ask you this. Do you think that we're disproportionately paying because we have disproportionately less fires, exempting the wildfires?
No, we're already paying, as I said, tax upon tax upon tax upon tax. We're already doing what Chris has indicated. We're already doing the inspections, the defensible space, the vegetation management, and there is no guarantee we're going to get the $10 million that people will be paying out of their pockets to Sacramento back into San Diego to do what it's intended to do. This is an absolute rip-off. It's a classic example of how dysfunctional our state government is, that they cannot put their priorities in order, and top of their budget should be public protection.
Well, we are out of time. I need to let you respond to that. What is your response to the money coming into San Diego County that people are putting into it, real briefly?
Very briefly. Fire prevention and firefighting in California is based on mutual aid. San Diego gets firefighters from all over the state in a time of crisis, and we send firefighters all over the state in a time of crisis. It is a back and forth. We don't stand alone down here, neither does Kern County or Los Angeles or anywhere else. San Diego is different. We could be doing things better. This is a fair tax, and it is very, very necessary. We are only funding CAL FIRE's operations at 50% now. We need to do more.
Okay, Senator Kehoe, Supervisor Jacobs, thank you both. I know you disagree on this, but thank you both for being here to talk with me about it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yes.
A San Diego health plan for seniors who prefer to live at home but have chronic health issues is expanding. St. Paul's PACE program is an alternative to living in a nursing home for people 55 and older. It now has a new facility in San Diego's second largest city, Chula Vista.
Okay.
This is one of the many activities to improve the quality of life and independence of San Diego seniors. The PACE program started downtown in 2008, serving more than 300 older adults, including 68-year-old Eileen Weber, who lives in the Encanto area.
Somehow, with age, people don't really listen outside, but here they do.
Weber suffers from a long list of chronic ailments, including a lung disease, making it difficult to breathe.
I have gastric problems. I have kyphosis and scoliosis. Hardware in my back that's not doing that well.
When she came to the center 2.5 years ago, she couldn't even walk on her own.
Everybody takes an interest in you as a person, and you make friends from the people who come here, and it's really phenomenal.
PACE is designed for seniors whose medical problems make it impossible to stay home without help from doctors, nurses, and caregivers. That's what makes the program unique, because it provides all those services under one roof.
We figure out what a senior needs, and they don't have to go anywhere else. We provide the medical, the specialists, we provide the transportation, we provide nutritional services, food, home care services if they need home care.
And it's apparently working, as this framed letter from one of its clients shows. Hubbard says it really gets to the core of what PACE is all about.
So Molly says, I needed help. I was fading fast. At the rate I was going, I couldn't last. Physically and psychologically, running round and round, running myself right into the ground. I tried different things, but nothing helped my case, until, that is, I signed up with PACE.
Now, the program is funded by Medicare, Medicaid, and the State Department of Health Care Services. It's expanded into the South Bay as well as the East County to serve more seniors. If you head to the beach this weekend, a San Diego lifeguard may ask you to help fill a fin. On Friday, they're starting a fundraiser to help underprivileged kids learn to swim. They'll be passing their swim fins for donations at city beaches from Ocean Beach to Torrey Pines. The Fill the Fin campaign will run through Sunday. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. You have a great night.